What have I done to any of you? You are a reminder that even without wealth, some people shine and we hate it. Why can't you be ugly? Why do we have to remain under your shadow no matter how hard we try? Today, we will teach you a bitter lesson. A very long time ago, in the beautiful green hills of the east, there lived a kingdom called Umuoma. Ah, Umuoma. What a land of laughter and pride. The earth there was soft like ripe banana, and the rivers giggled all day long. Palm trees lifted their hands to bless the sky, and the soil gave food the way a mother gives breast milk, freely, sweetly, and without quarrel. If you planted in the morning, you would reap by evening. If you dropped even a broomstick into the ground, by the next market day, it would sprout leaves. That was how blessed Umuoma was. But hey, besties, inside that beauty was wahala. I mean, very big wahala. Peace lived next door, yes, but she refused to sleep in Umuoma. Umuoma was a place loaded with drama. The people behaved like cats and dogs tied to one bone. From farm ridges to market stalls, from the grinding stone to the river bank, everyone wanted to prove they were better than the other. If you harvested 10 tubers of yam, your neighbor must harvest 11 the next day and display them proudly where the sun could kiss them well so that the whole village would see. To mind one's business in Umuoma was like trying to carry water with a basket. He would try and still fail. Ah, Umuoma was not your regular kind of village. Every morning, before the real rooster crowed, the gossip rooster had already opened its mouth. That gossip rooster had many heads, but the biggest one belonged to Mama Onwubiko, the queen of "Didn't I Tell You?" She would sit in front of her compound, chewing stick in her mouth and judgment in her eyes. She would begin. So you people did not hear. Come and sit, come. Let me untie the knot for you. Her mat was a cot. Her tongue was a talking drum. If you passed her gate with a secret, by sunset, that secret would be dancing in the market square. Not far from Mama Onwubiko lived Pa Okike, the blind old man who saw too much. He would sit under the odala tree with his flute and say, when the goats begin to wear lipstick, expect a masquerade in the market. Nobody ever fully understood him, but somehow his words always matched the day's trouble. Children loved him, women feared him, and men greeted him with respect, just in case his blindness could see their hidden plans. Aha! Let's talk about the women of Umuoma. Those ones. If pride were cassava, they would pound it into fufu every day. They were the highlight of the village. Now, in Umuoma, having a daughter was an honor, and every mother wanted her daughter to be the rainbow the sky would never forget. They spent market after market buying wrappers, perfumes, hair beads, waist beads, ankle beads and face powders that made their girls look like moonlight that refused to go home. And their competition was endless. If one girl wore a coral crown, another mother's daughter must wear two, so heavy that the poor child's neck would be crying for mercy. On Eke market days, the village square became a parade ground. You would think a festival had come uninvited. Maidens walked in lines like peacocks that had read the book of pride. Their mothers followed a few steps behind, their faces twisted like that of an angry bird with red lipsticks, pretending not to follow but ready. very ready to ease, slap, adjust, correct or compare. Ne, walk small small, let them see your ankles. Smile Obiko, your dimple is your blessing. I want you to be the talk of the town. Hey, don't turn your head too fast though, your beads will cry. And if by mistake 2 girls wore the same wrapper, the market would enter court session. One would say, we bought ours from the city. I don't know where those imitation people got theirs. The other would reply, city wrapper my foot, what's the use? Can't you see how dull the color is? The crowd will roar with laughter, and the matter would end with side eyes and silent curses. But don't think the men of Umuoma were innocent though. They too had their own style of competition. Through farm ridges, palm wine and women. They would boast about their ridges, boast about their yams, and even compare their wives. Life in Umuoma was a big competition. And let's not forget the maidens of Umuoma. They had learned so well from their mothers. There is this proverb our people always say, a mirror will not borrow your beauty, but it will show you your pride. The maidens of Umuoma polished that proverb like a mirror every evening. So besties, welcome to Umuoma, a land of beauty and competition, laughter and gossip, where people wore pride like perfume and peace was always peeping through the window but never entering the house. Now, among all these shining maidens and their ambitious mothers, the village had an open wound they refused to touch, the matter of outcasts. In Umuoma, some families sat at the back during village meetings. Their names always called last, their hands accepted but not shaken too long. They were slaves taken from neighboring kingdoms during wars. They had no possession of their own in the land and lived from hand to mouth. Poverty was their clothes, silent their head tie. People used them for farm labors and all sorts of menial jobs, but returned their greetings with half mouths. That is how the world can be sometimes. Sweet Gary with bitter leaves. In one small compound at the edge of the village, close to the old ukwa tree and the narrow path that led to the farms, lived a quiet family that people greeted from afar. Their daughter Adama fetched water early, cooked for her parents, and tied her wrapper with modest hands. But hush for now, her name will shine later. For now, we are only beating the talking drum so the dancers can hear that a dance is coming. Back to the market square, where the council gong ruled the morning air. Any small thing, Obuago the town crier would appear with his gong. Bam, bam, bam. He had a voice like roasted corn, rough, loud, sweet and hot. People of Umuoma, he would shout, gather, gather. And the villagers, foolish and wise together, would gather. Sometimes he announced rainfall that had already fallen. Some other times he announced quarrels that had not started. But his gong gathered everyone like broomsticks, and yes, they stood as one, even if their hearts faced different directions. Today was one such morning. He rang the bell 3 eyes and lifted his chest like a pigeon, ready to boast. His voice carried great excitement. People of Umuoma, prepare your compounds, wash your wrappers, oil your drums. Our prince is returning from the city. There will be a maidens dance to welcome the prince. There will be a celebration in our kingdom. See the joy that rang through the walls of the kingdom of Umuoma. Women screamed, men clapped, maidens jubilated. Children ran around like scattered beads. Before noon, the market had become a rehearsal ground. Tailors' needles jumped. Hair platers' fingers flew. Calabashes of palm oil doubled prices as mothers bought to rub and shine their daughters' arms and legs until they gleamed like new pots. From that day, competition grew legs. If jealousy had been eaten with a spoon before, now it brought a shovel. Mothers formed committees of beauty. They counted steps. 1, 2, turn, smile. They rehearsed neck bends, left, right, down, smile small, freeze. They planned entrances like generals. You will arrive when the drum says bam, and all eyes will become your slaves. Girls started walking with slow thunder, as if each footstep was a proclamation. Even the moon looked down at night and asked the stars, "Are we still the only lights here?" Meanwhile, Mama Obiko's veranda became the village newsroom. "Did you see Nkechi's beads?" she asked nobody and everybody. Heavy beads with hollow pride. If the beads could talk, they would beg for a new owner. Laughter and palm wine flowed through her compound. And that one, Amarachi, she had started adding something to her skin. Yesterday, she was cocoa, and today, she's already ripe like plantain. Tomorrow, I'm sure she would look like boiled yam. More laughter followed. You could not pass that veranda and remain innocent. Your shadow would stay behind to hear the gist and laugh. Pa Okike, for his part, washed his flute in the river and dried it on the Udala tree. When children gathered, he said, "But people compete to outshine the sun. Heat will humble them." The children clapped because it sounded sweet. Women hissed because it sounded stupid to them. The men nodded because it sounded wise. And the sky said nothing because the sky knows when to mind its business. Now hear this. A village that cannot mind its business will soon lose the business worth minding. Because when the prince's gong finally beat the sky, and when the drums called every maiden to dance, Umoma did not prepare for character, no. Umoma prepared for show. As the night folded the village like lots, the moon climbed over Umoma and peeped into every compound. It saw ambition sleeping with open eyes. It saw vanity stretching its leg. It saw mothers counting tomorrow's praise names before dawn. And the moon whispered to the stars, "Let us watch. A story is about to stand up." But best is, tighten your wrapper and hold your laughter. For in Umoma where beauty walks barefoot and gossip wears high heel, the dance has not even started. At the far edge of Umoma, where the tall breadfruit tree watched the road, and the crickets sang lullabies to poverty, lived a small family. Everyone called the Ajochi, meaning people of bad luck. They were among the outcasts. Their hut was small, their roof leaning like a tired man, and their compound was so poor that even goats pitied them. But inside that humble hut lived a treasure the gods themselves must have hidden in clay. Her name was Adamma. Ah, Adamma. Her name meant the child that is beautiful. And the gods did not lie. From the crown of her head to the sole of her feet, beauty danced without shame. Her skin shone like new calabash. Her eyes were like cool river water. When she smiled, it was as if the morning had come early. Even her laughter, had the power to heal a quarrel. But don't think her beauty was her only wealth. Adamma's heart was made of kindness. She fetched water not only for her mother, but for any tired woman she met on the way. She helped children plait their hair, helped elders sweep the square, and even shared her little food with strangers. You see, her parents, poor as they were, had raised her with the richest manners in the world. Her father, Pa Mba, was a quiet farmer who who spoke little and walked much. His hands were rough from the hoe, but his soul was gentle. Her mother, Nwamaka, was a soft-spoken woman whose laughter still found its way into the air even when hunger sat on the mat. "Nay," she would say, "we may be poor, but we will not be poor in joy." Their home was always filled with laughter. Every morning, when the cock crowed, Adama tied her mother's old wrapper, slung a calabash on her head, and walked to the river. The sun always seemed to follow her, teasing her shadow. Sometimes, she would sing a small song and even the birds would stop mid-flight to listen. Her voice was not loud but deep, the kind that found its way into hearts and refused to leave. In Umuoma, beauty was not a secret. It was an announcement, and Adama's beauty was the kind that made people stop, look twice, and forget where they were going. She was on everyone's lips. Men talked, women sighed, and the maidens, oh the maidens, their hearts burned like hot coals. "Ah, that's one," they would say, twisting their mouths. Her parents are outcasts, yet she walks as if the ground begged her to step on it. Who even gave her the permission to be beautiful, with skin like milk? The gods must be so unfair. It pained them so much that even in her mother's faded wrapper, Adama still shone brighter than all of them put together. With all their beauty oil and therapy that they applied morning, afternoon and night. But besties, beauty and character were not even only the blessings Adama carried. At sunset, when the village drums called children to moonlight play and maidens to dance, Adama would jump on her feet in front of her hut and moved. Ah, she loved dancing. Her steps were like the laughter of the river, soft yet powerful. The dust beneath her feet rose to greet her, and the moon itself leaned closer to watch. Her parents would sit by the doorway smiling, their hearts full. Adama was their only child, yet she filled their small hearts with joy that could feed a whole kingdom. Some whispered that she must be an Obanje, a spirit child who wandered between worlds. Others said her mother must have bathed her with water fetched from a spirit well. Because how else could they explain the kind of beauty Adama carried? Beauty that needed no gold, no perfume, no crown, and no beads to shine. She was a big threat to the village maidens. One hot afternoon, as the girls gathered at the square to rehearse their dance steps for the prince's return, Adama passed quietly. A bundle of firewood balanced gracefully on her head. The maidens' laughter grew loud the moment they saw her, their voices sharp like pepper. "Fine outcast," one called. "Look at her, beauty of the bush," another mocked. "She carries firewood as if she's carrying a crown," a third hissed. "Kai, some people are just born to suffer." Adama only smiled. "It is better to carry firewood in peace," she said softly, "than to carry envy in your hearts." The girls fell silent. Her calmness was like a slap wrapped in honey. But they wouldn't let her know the effect her words had on them. "Eh? What did you just say?" one barked, rushing towards her. "You dare curse us!" Before she could speak another word, the maidens surrounded her, dragging her hair, kicking her as she cried for help. It was a palm wine tapper passing who saved her. "Stop that nonsense," he shouted, waving his stick. The girls scattered like startled chickens. "Try this rubbish again next time," they threatened, spitting into the dust as they left. When Adama got home, her mother Nwamaka took one look at her swollen eyes and scattered hair and froze. "Who did this to you, Adama?" she cried. "Mama, It's the village maidens, Adama wept. I don't know what I did to them. I was just walking on my own when they started mocking and calling me names. Mama, why do they hate me so much? Amaka sighed, tears glistening in her eyes. Of course, she wanted to fight for her daughter, but she couldn't. She was an outcast and had no voice among those that mattered. She pulled her daughter close and whispered, My child, don't let their words turn your hearts bitter. Adama looked at her mother and smiled through her tears. Mama, if the mango tree listens to stones, it will stop bearing fruits. Her mother's eyes softened with pride. May your wisdom never grow old, my daughter. And truly, her wisdom became her beauty's twin. As the days to the prince's welcome dance approached, and the rehearsal drums echoed through the village, Adama sat sadly under the tree in front of their hut. Sometimes, she would wish that things were different, that she wasn't an outcast and could join the maidens' dance. Her heart would ache, but what could she do? She was an outcast, and that was enough to lock her out of every joy. Days passed, and the prince's return drew nearer. Rehearsals were now at its peak, as the maidens didn't want to take chances. Who knows, one of them may just catch the prince's eyes. One evening, Adama was returning from the farm when she heard the drums again. The same sweet thunder rolling through the wind, but this time it was closer. Its rhythm and melodies filled the air. The maidens were at it again. She stopped as her heart danced to the beats. Even the spirits couldn't resist this one. She smiled and looked around. No one was near. Let me just dance small, she whispered to herself. Even though I'm an outcast, I can still dance on my own. She dropped her hose and cutlass and swung into action. Her body moved like it was born from rhythm itself. The drums called, her spirit answered. Her legs glided with grace, her waist spoke poetry. The world disappeared, and only her and the music remained. She didn't know that a small crowd had gathered behind the trees watching her in awe. The villagers had never seen such a performance before. Even those who saw that nothing good could come out of an outcast found themselves clapping before they realized it. Their applause jolted Adama back to reality. She froze, wide-eyed, embarrassed, but the crowd was already shouting with joy. They had seen the village maidens dance, yes, but this was something else. Her movements were smooth, graceful, divine. The maidens in the square danced as if they had a piece of broken bottle hooked to their spines, but Adama, her dance flowed like palm wine, sweet and endless. Your feet are blessed, Adama, one old woman shouted. This is the kind of dance fit for a prince. You must join the maidens to welcome the prince. Yes, another agreed. You must join the dance. More voices joined in. We want to see more of your dance, Adama. Please dance again. But Adama shook her head shyly. She didn't want the trouble of the maidens. Her smile was small, her eyes wet with shame. She finally managed to wriggle her way out of the cheering crowd and hurried home. That night, the jealous maidens heard what had happened, and it was as if someone had poured hot oil on their skin. They gathered under the udara tree, hissing and gnashing teeth. That outcast. Who does she think she is, Nkechi's part? I don't know why she's always everywhere, stealing the spotlight, another cried. Is it not enough that she has all the beauty to herself? How dare the villagers ask an outcast to join our dance? She will dare not join us, another growled. If she tries it, We will skin her alive." The tree trembled above them, as if it too was tired of their bitterness. That same night, as the moon spread silver light over their compound, Adama sat outside, grinding pepper, as her mind wandered around what had happened that evening. She hadn't shared it with anyone. Her father, sitting under the tree, played his flute softly. Her mother hummed along. The air smelled of roasted yam from a neighbor's fire. Peace wrapped around their home like a shawl. Then, suddenly, faint royal drums began to roll from afar, echoing through the forest and into the village. Adama paused, listening. "Papa," she said softly, "do you hear the drums?" Pamba nodded, his old eyes glistening. "Yes, my daughter. Those are the royal drums, the drums of destiny. They call people to their place, though they may not even know it." Adama laughed lightly, shaking her head. "Destiny does not know our hearts, Papa. It's too small for royal drums. We are outcast." Pamba smiled faintly, blowing his flute again. Even a small heart can hold a big miracle, my daughter." The wind carried his words into the night. And somewhere deep in the forest, the drums beat louder, as if the gods themselves had just nodded. When the rooster announced dawn the next morning, his crow seemed to carry excitement. Even the wind that morning smelled different, like palm wine mixed with new hope. The long-awaited day had come. The prince of Umuoma was returning from the city. You should have seen the village. Every compound became a theater. Mortars sang, pestles danced. Smoke from cooking fires rose like festival flags. The gong beat across the square. Bam! 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 Calling everyone to prepare. Mothers, tie your wrappers well. Maidens, paint your eyes and straighten your neck. The prince must know that Umuoma breathes beauty, shouted Obuago the town crier, his mouth wide like the village gates. From that moment, madness began to dance around the village. Women forgot their chores, men abandoned their farms, even goats and chickens felt the tension in the air. By mid-morning, the market square had become a sea of color. Red, blue, and gold wrappers flashed like butterflies. Beads clicked and jingled, as if whispering gossip to one another. Mothers hurried about, rubbing coconut oil on their daughters' skin until they glowed like roasted plantain. Amaka, tilt your head small, one mother would say. Abeg, don't over-smile. Be cool. You will look desperate, warned another. If the prince looks at you, pretend not to notice. Then turn slowly and give him the eye. It was serious business, besties. The women of Umuoma took the festival as if their destiny had worn heels and was walking past them. Even Mama Umbiko, the gossip queen, wore her best wrapper and told everyone, "I'm only coming to watch you." But her eyes scanned every maiden like a hawk searching for ripe chicks. Later, their stories would mount in her veranda. The old men sat under the big Udala tree, drinking palm wine and shaking their heads. Beauty everywhere, one said. Too much beauty brings trouble, another added. But they still watched. Men will always watch. Music filled the air as the villagers settled down in the village square. There were shouts of joy and jubilation. Then came the sound of the royal drums. The ground itself trembled. The crowd scattered and reformed like ants, making way for a sugar cube. The long-awaited time had arrived. The prince appeared, tall, handsome, and noble, dressed in a flowing royal attire that caught the sunlight. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Eyes that had seen the city but still belonged to Umuoma. He greeted the elders, bowed to the chiefs, and smiled at the cheering maidens. Ah, if only you could hear how they screamed, "My prince! Look here! No! Here!" Their mothers pushed them forward like goods on display. But the prince smiled faintly and sat down. "Let the dance begin," the king declared. The drummers began their magic. Flutes joined, and the talking drums gossiped in rhythm. One by one, the maidens danced out. Amarachi, daughter of the palm wine tapper, danced first. Her steps were sharp, her waist proud. The crowd clapped politely. Nkechi with her shiny beads followed next. She turned like a whirlwind, beads rattling as if they wanted attention of their own. Chizoba, who had borrowed her mother's gold bangles, danced with a smile so wide that her ears almost met her eyes. The crowd cheered louder, but still something was missing. The other maidens joined in as the drummers beat louder. By the end of the dance, everyone's faces bore minimal satisfaction. This wasn't what they had expected. Even the prince's face didn't look impressive. It was as though something essential had not been found. This was not the kind of welcome dance fit for a prince. The drummers looked around as if waiting for someone. Even the flutes sounded restless. Then a small commotion broke near the back. Heads turned. Someone whispered, "Is that not Adamma, the outcast daughter?" Indeed, it was her. She came barefoot, wearing her mother's faded wrapper, her hair tied simply. No ornaments, no perfume, no makeup, just grace. Still, her beauty shone. The drummers saw her and smiled. They changed the beats. The flutes came alive as if they had been waiting for her. But she remained where she was, with her head bowed low. She had only come to watch the dance. The next thing everyone heard was an uproar as the villagers began to beckon Adamma to come dance for the prince. "Adamma, Adamma, 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 come and dance for the prince," they all shouted, their voices rising high into the sky. Adamma felt as though the ground should open and swallow her, but the shouts continued. "Go, daughter. You can't say no to an honor like this," her mother whispered into her ear. "You can do this." The crowd grew more excited as Adamma stood and stepped into their midst. They were wild with joy. Her voice rang through the air like warm honey, sliding smoothly down the throats, and everywhere grew quiet immediately. Then, when Adamma began to dance, the ground itself seemed to listen. Her steps were not hurried or proud, they were soft, like wind caressing leaves. Her arms told stories, her waist spoke in tongues. The dust under her feet rose in worship. She raised her voice, clear and warm, like morning light, and began to sing. A song not of herself nor her beauty, but of the land that had birthed her.
Land of the Gorgons in where rivers laugh and the palm trees run. A young prophet, a heart grow white. Blessings fall like rain from the sky. Hey, yeah. Oh, my head. Dance, my people dance today. Hey, yeah. Oh, my head. Let the drums say what words can say. They use well grounds of morning light. The streams were We dance, we sing till daylight ends. Our laughter shakes the sky apart, for beauty lives in every heart. Hey ya, mama, hey, hey. Drums of joy, come out and play. Hey ya, mama, you gon' let the prince see our pride today.
The maidens who had mocked her froze mid-smile. The mothers forgot their boasting. Even Mama Obiko dropped her fan. Eh? Someone whispered. What kind of spirit dances in that girl? Ah! Adama sang and danced with so much joy. And when she finally turned, her eyes met the princess. For a moment, the drums forgot to beat. The prince's lips parted slightly, his heart stumbled. He stood on his feet. Who is she? He asked quietly. An elder replied, Your Highness, that is Adama, daughter of Pamba, one of the outcasts who lives at the edge of the village. The prince said nothing. He only watched. His eyes locked on her as she finished her dance with a graceful bow. The crowd erupted. Even those who once despised her shouted her name. Children clapped. The old men whistled. All through the remaining parts of the celebration, the prince could not take his eyes off her. Something inside him, a spark he did not know he carried, had caught fire. That night, Umuoma did not sleep. Adama's name was on every tongue. The celebration had come to an end, yes, but the village of Umuoma wasn't even done yet. They were yet to get over Adama's spectacular performance. That performance gave them the chills. Even when the drum stopped and the moon rose that night, Umuoma refused to be quiet. The air buzzed with talk like flies around ripe mango. Everywhere you turned, by the stream, behind the hut, even beside cooking fires, people were whispering one name, Adama. Mama Obiko, did you see how she danced? My sister, I saw. Even the ground bowed for her. But she's an outcast. Outcast or not, beauty is beauty. I can't believe the prince stood up. The prince stood up for her. And jealousy, that disease that eats without chewing. It lived in a fully rented and furnished apartment under the Udara tree. The more people talked, the more the village maidens' hearts boiled like hot soup with no salt. A group of them, led by Nkechi, Amarachi, and Chizoba, gathered under the great tree. The same tree where gossip rested after roaming all day, their faces twisted in fury. The moon shone full, like it too had come to hear their foolishness. Nkechi stamped her foot. Tofiawa, that girl embarrassed all of us today. After everything we practiced, after all our efforts, even the prince didn't blink when she danced. I was watching him. Are we now furnitures in this village? Amarachi hissed loudly, tossing her braids. Outcast beauty, my foot. If our parents were rich, maybe I would understand. But to think that a poor girl with one faded wrapper can steal our glory, this is an insult to us. Chizoba folded her arms, her eyes flashing. That girl is definitely using something. I'm sure of it. There is nothing anyone can tell me. Because how can an ordinary person dance like that? Her eyes, didn't you see them? They were shining like candle in daylight. One of the younger maidens, timid and unsure, whispered, Maybe she's just blessed. All eyes turned to her. Amarachi rose, her voice sharp and proud. Blessed? You must be very dumb. See, in Umuoma, blessings wear beads and perfume. That girl wear dust and poverty, two things that don't attract princes. What are you saying? The others laughed bitterly. Then Nkechi said, we must put her in her place. She walks as if the ground owes her respect. We will remind her who she is, the outcast daughter. She doesn't belong in this village. She is a nobody. Yes. Amarachi clapped her hands. She can't steal our shine. She's beautiful, but she remains an outcast. The prince can stare all he wants. He can even stand on one leg if he wants to. But that would be all. After all, by the traditions of the land, she is an abomination to the throne, she said bitterly, as the other maidens nodded. Tomorrow, she continued, at the stream. That's where we'll find her. Let's see how she dances when her feet are in the mud. And that face of hers, by the time we are done with her, no one will recognize her again. They all agreed. The plan was set. They spat into their palms to seal it, an old village sign of agreement. Above them, the dala tree rustled softly. But jealousy makes even trees sound like mockery. The drums had given her glory, but envy was already sharpening its knife. Meanwhile, far away in the palace, the prince sat by his window staring at the moon. Her dance still lived in his mind. He whispered softly, Adamma. And the night breeze carried her name across Umuoma like a secret love song. By morning, the news had already started moving like a Hamatan fire. Mama Umbiko, who claimed she was not there but heard from the ground, told her neighbor, those girls met last night under the Udara tree. They're planning something for Adamma. I don't know what it is yet though, but it smells like pepper soup with too much pepper. The neighbor gasped. Eh? Poor Adamma. That one doesn't even have strength for trouble. Mama Umbiko shrugged. This village is turning to something else so. Beauty without money is now a dangerous inheritance. Before the noon, the whole market knew. But Adamma, unaware of the storm, went about her chores quietly. And her calmness annoyed her enemies even more. In the royal palace, the prince was no better. His body sat on the throne, but his mind wandered around the village square. Every sound reminded him of her dance. Every whisper of wind felt like her laughter. He had asked his guard, who is she again? The guard bowed. Adamma, your highness, the outcast daughter. The prince frowned. Outcast? How can someone so pure and beautiful be an outcast? The guard kept quiet. The prince sighed and rose, pacing. If the gods placed such beauty in a poor home, then maybe we have misunderstood what royalty truly means. He had tried to get her off his mind, but failed miserably. That night, he sat by his window watching the moon. Adamma, he whispered again, even your name dances in my heart. Days passed, and everything except the maiden's bitterness seemed to have calmed down a bit. The palace of Umuoma stood like a proud lion, its red earth walls glowing under the morning sun, its carved pillars watching silently like ancestral spirits. Prince Lutanda, though surrounded by gold and good wine, was restless. He stood by his window sipping wine and gazing into the courtyard where peacocks strutted lazily. Servants passed with trays of fruit and wine, but he waved them away. His thoughts were far from the palace. His heart was still dancing in the village square with Adamma. He was going crazy. He had seen countless maidens before, daughters of chiefs, princesses from neighboring kingdoms, city women with perfect polish. But none had moved him the way that barefoot village girl did. There was something in her simplicity that refused to leave his mind. When she danced, he felt the rhythm enter his bones, as if her steps had called out the parts of him that the crown could not touch. He rose and walked to the mirror, shaking his head. How can this be, he murmured. A prince thinking of an outcast daughter. This is a taboo. His trusted servant, Obioha, entered quietly and bowed. My prince, the council awaits you. They wish to discuss the marriage announcement. The prince frowned. Marriage? First, it was a dance. And now, marriage. Must everything be duty? I've barely had the time to rest since I returned. Obioha hesitated. Your father says it is time. The people are eager to see you choose a queen. The prince turned slowly, his voice low but firm. Tell the council I will speak with them later today. Obioha bowed again but dared to ask, Forgive me, my prince, but you seem troubled. Is your heart already thinking of someone? The prince smiled faintly. If I tell you who it is, you will be shocked. Try me, said Obioha with a grin. The prince looked out of the window towards the far village path. Adama. Obioha blinked in shock. Adama. That name had been trending for days. The same maiden from the dance? The same, said the prince. I don't know, I feel something very strong for her. Her beauty is not the loud kind. It is the kind that whispers until it fills the room, and my heart can't stop dancing with her. Obioha's smile faded. But my prince, you can't be thinking of her. She's an outcast. The prince sighed. So they say, but tell me, Obioha, does the sun choose who it shines on? Even the gods didn't think of her as an outcast before pouring out all that beauty and grace on her. Don't you think we are not getting something right? Obioha lowered his head, speechless. The prince continued. When she danced, the whole village forgot their pride, even the drums obeyed her. I saw truth in her eyes, truth, not flattery. And yet, I can't love her because I'm bound by tradition. Later that day, the council gathered. Chiefs in red caps, elders with white beards, and the king, proud and wise, sitting at the head of the long table. My son, the king began, his voice deep. The drums have spoken, the land has welcomed you. It is time you choose a wife. The throne cannot wait forever. The prince bowed. Yes, father. But must the hearts be first? The king's eyes softened. You speak like your mother, but the heart of a prince belongs first to the kingdom. You must choose a maiden of noble birth, one whose family name can stand beside ours. The chiefs nodded in agreement, their necklaces rattling. Yes, yes, a queen from a good blood, one said, not a common girl from the dust, a nobody. The prince kept silence, though his chest burned. Then the king smiled. To make it fair, we shall hold the royal dance festival. Let every maiden come and present herself. You will choose your queen from the one who steals your hearts that day. The chiefs nodded in approval. Wow, that is how it has been done. The prince bowed again, but his mind whispered something else. By evening, word spread like wildfire. A royal dance festival was coming. The prince will choose his bride during the royal dance festival. Women screamed with joy, maidens danced with excitement, and the sound of sewing machines filled the air immediately as wrappers, beads, and ornaments began to multiply. But for Adama, the news came like thunder on a sunny day. At the stream, she overheard some maidens laughing loudly. Hey, the prince is holding a festival to choose a wife, said one. Good for us, said another. At least, we are not like that outcast that won't be allowed to join. You don't have to worry about competing against her. What a wasted beauty. Laughter followed, sharp, bitter, and it sliced through Adama's heart. Her hands trembled as she rinsed her calabash. She looked at her reflection in the water, and tears gathered in her eyes. An outcast cannot be queen, she whispered sadly. That night, while the village celebrated, the prince stood alone in the palace courtyard. The moonlight poured over him like silver water. He looked up and spoke softly. If only the heart could choose without rules. If only beauty and kindness were titles of their own. The wind rustled the palm fronds, and somewhere from far away, the same moonlight touched Adama's face as she sat outside her hut singing quietly to herself. The song floated through the night, carried by the wind straight to the palace walls. The prince froze listening. Though faint, he could still recognize that voice. The same voice that had danced in his dreams since that night. He closed his eyes and whispered her name once more. And though miles apart, the wind seemed to answer him with the same word, softly, like a promise. The days flew by quickly. And one hot afternoon, the sun sat high in the sky, fierce and golden, baking every roof in Umwama until they shone like fresh palm oil. Even the birds refused to sing. They hid in thick leaves, panting softly. The only thing that moved freely was the wind, and even it carried heat on its back. Down by the river, the water glistened, cool and inviting, whispering to tired bodies, come and rest. It was there that the prince of Umwama, dressed simply in a white cloth, came quietly to bath and cool his royal skin. He had dismissed his guards at the path, saying, "Let me be alone today." Even a prince needs silence. He needed to be alone. He needed to clear his head and think properly. He needed to be sure that he wasn't running mad. How could he fight tradition? How could he get this maiden off his mind? He walked to the water's edge, knelt, and scooped a handful of the river's coolness. But even as he washed, his mind couldn't stop wandering to her. He didn't know that just a distance away, in another part of the river, a storm was brewing. The jealous maidens Nkechi, Amarachi, Chizoba, and the rest had been waiting for an opportunity to deal with Adama. They had agreed under the Udara tree that they would beat her up mercilessly and break those legs of hers in case she decided to join the dance. They would also design her pretty face until she became unrecognizable. They couldn't afford to take chances. They spotted her walking down the narrow path, a calabash balanced on her head, her wrapper tied neatly around her chest. The sun kissed her skin and made her glow. "Ah, look who is coming," Amarachi whispered. "Finally," Nkechi smirked, "the queen of poverty herself. Or should we say the outcast with big dreams," Chizoba added. As Adama knelt to fill her calabash, they surrounded her like hungry hens around one grain of corn. "Well, well," said Nkechi, pretending to admire her reflection in the water. "So, the famous dancer finally decides to fetch water. We've been waiting for you for a long, long time." Adama looked up quietly. "Good day, my sisters." Eh? Did you hear her?" Amarachi laughed mockingly. "Sisters? Since when do outcasts have sisters?" The others burst into laughter. Adama stood holding her calabash. "I don't mean to quarrel with anyone. Please, just let me go my way." But jealousy has no ears. Nkechi blocked her path. You think because you danced one small dance, you are now the pride of Umoma. You think the prince will marry a girl whose father cannot even sit in the village council. Adama's hands trembled, but she said softly, "The prince belongs to the kingdom, not to me. I didn't call him." She was a Bahist. You didn't call him. Fool. Pretender. But you shook your waist as if your bones were calling his name. The maidens roared with laughter. One of them pushed her lightly, and her calabash fell, cracking open and spilling its water on the sand. "Ah, my calabash!" Adama gasped. They clapped and laughed louder. "Oops, maybe your beauty will fetch another one for you." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Why are you doing this to me? What have I done to any of you?" "Because," Nkechi snapped, "you are a reminder that even without wealth, some people shine and we hate it. Why can't you be ugly? Why do we have to remain under your shadow no matter how hard we try? Today, we will teach you a bitter lesson." The other girls burst into laughter as they pushed Adama. "Outcast, wasted beauty. With all you have, you can't even join the maidens' dance." They dragged her, trying to pull her into the river. Just then, a deep voice thundered behind them. "Enough!" Their laughter froze. The girls turned and their faces drained of color. The prince stood there, bare-chested, the sunlight bouncing off his smooth skin. His white cloth was tied loosely around his waist, water still dripping from his hair. He looked like a semi-god, but his eyes burned with anger. "Your Highness," the maiden stammered, falling to their knees. The prince stepped forward. "Is this how you spend your days? Bullying one of your own? How evil can you be? Is beauty now a crime in Umwama?" No one dared to answer. He looked at Adama. Her cheeks were wet, her calabash broken at her feet. For a moment, his expression softened. He picked up his royal handkerchief, clean and white, and gently wiped her tears. The maidens gasped. "Don't cry," he said softly. "You have done nothing wrong." He then turned sharply to the others. "From today, hear it from my mouth. Adama is as human as any of you. You will no longer call her or treat her like an outcast. And she will be allowed to join the Royal Dance Festival if she wants to. And if any of you dares to mock her again, you will answer to the palace." The maidens bowed, trembling. Yes, my prince. Get out now," he commanded. They ran, their heads bowed, their pride leaking out of them like air from a burst drum. The prince bent down and picked up the broken piece of her calabash. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I didn't mean for my people to hurt you. You are one of us." Adama shook her head gently. "It's not your fault, my prince. The gods will give me another one." He smiled faintly. "You speak with peace even when you have every reason to be angry. The gods favor such hearts." She curtsied shyly. "Thank you, my prince." He reached into his pouch and handed her a small carved pendant. "Take this," he said. "When the drums of the festival call, come. Let the world see who you truly are." Adama hesitated, then accepted it. "May the gods bless you, my prince." As she walked away, her shadow stretched long on the sand, graceful and calm. The prince stood watching until she disappeared into the trees. He couldn't hold himself back. "If the gods will punish me for loving her, let them begin today," he whispered to himself. Back in the village, the jealous maidens hid in shame. Their plan had scattered like dry leaves in the wind. After the river shame, they could not eat, sleep. They could not even look at their own reflection without feeling rage. Adama's calm smile haunted them worse than any ghost. The prince himself had ordered Adama to join the dance competition. and that itself was a big threat to them. How could they compete against Adamma? Where would they even begin? In beauty, they couldn't compare. In dance, Adamma would beat them hands down. They needed to do something. That night was indeed a night of sorrow. But just as their hope began to fizzle, a new whisper of hope arose in the air about a mysterious man named Ukibe, who had just arrived in the village selling magic creams, soaps, and perfumes that could make even the moon jealous of your beauty. So, when the gossip wind carried the news about the stranger Ukibe, who sold beauty from the gods to the Udara tree, the maidens' hearts jumped like fish in hot oil. Who is this Ukibe again? Amarachi asked. He's a miracle beauty seller, replied Nkechi, her eyes glowing. They say his wife's skin shines like moonlight. One drop of his oil and your face will glow like the river at sunrise. Where does he stay? Chisaba asked quickly. Near the old path, beside the shrine stream, said another. He came with boxes, bottles, perfumes, and soaps that smelled like heaven itself. The maidens looked at each other. Their envy, which had been sleeping like a tired snake, lifted its head again. This is our chance, Nkechi said. We will buy his creams, use them till the festival, and our beauty will blind even the prince. Yes, the others chorused. Adamma will look like a shadow beside us. They all burst into laughter as they danced with excitement. Yes, beauty. No man could resist beauty that charmed their eyes. Their eyes lit up as their hearts began to beat with greed and hope. And the gods watching from above only sighed. Now, besties, let's talk about Ukibe. Ukibe was tall, thin, and had eyes that shone like palm oil on fire. His smile was wide, too wide, like someone who had swallowed a secret. He wore a long red cloth tied across his shoulder, and his hut smelled of strange herbs and perfumes. When the maidens arrived at his compound, he greeted them warmly. Welcome, welcome, beautiful flowers of Umwama, he said, bowing low. The gods have sent me to make your beauty complete. Amarachi clapped her hands as she turned to the other maidens. Ha! I told you, he even talks like a prophet. Ukibe led them to a small table filled with colorful bottles and calabashes. This, he said, lifting a golden bottle, is Odima oil. One drop and your skin will shine like sunrise. This other one here is Wanyoma soup. It will wash away dullness and replace your skin with glory. And this one here is the finishing touch. It is called Skin Like Milk. It will make your skin fresh like a baby's. The maidens gasped in awe. But it doesn't come cheap, Ukibe added quickly. Real beauty costs lots of money. How much? Nkechi asked, clutching her waist beads nervously. Ukibe smiled, showing too many teeth. One big hen, 5 wraps of cowries, and a new wrapper, each. The girls looked at each other. That was expensive. But Amarachi whispered, if we don't do it, Adamma will win us again. We can't afford to lose to an outcast. That was all the convincing they needed. One by one, with the support of their mothers, they began to offer their riches, hens, cowries, wrappers, even borrowed jewelry. Ukibe nodded greedily as he accepted their gifts, and his pockets grew fatter. He poured the mixtures into small calabashes and handed each maiden her portion. Use it every night, he instructed. Rub from head to toe. You will feel a small heat at first. That is the spirit cleansing your skin. Don't fear. Beauty is not for the weak. They all nodded eagerly. And one more thing, he added, lowering his voice. Do not let the sun see you after rubbing it. The sun is jealous of my work. The girls gasped, amazed. We understand, they said in unison. Okibe smiled and waved them off. Go, my shining daughters. When the prince sees you during the dance, he will forget his name. As they left, he turned to his wife, whose face was painted white with chalk and powder, and laughed. That night, the maidens locked themselves indoors, rubbing Okibe's oil, scrubbing with his soap, singing with excitement. Very soon, we will shine like golden fish, Amarachi giggled. Her skin already feels hot, Nkechi said proudly. The magic is working. By morning, however, screams filled the air of Umwoma. Yay! My face! Cried one. My skin is burning! Shouted another. Why is my nose swelling? The mothers rushed in, and what they saw nearly sent them running to the shrine. The maidens' faces were red, swollen, and shiny like palm fruits just taken out of fire. The women screamed, Chimo! What kind of beauty is this? Okibe's instructions echoed in their mind. Don't let the sun see you after rubbing it. But now, even darkness didn't want to see them. Still, in their foolishness, they refused to stop. They had gone back to Okibe, who had told them it was part of the cleansing process. It must remove all your old beauty first, before giving you a new one, he explained. If you want faster results, then buy more products. They believed him. Yes, he's right, Nkechi said, scratching her neck. You can't gain beauty without pain. So they bought more creams, more oils, more pain. Meanwhile, Adama continued her life quietly. She had no creams, no oils, no perfumes. She couldn't afford it. She had only water, soap, and peace, and she was content. Each day, she went to the farm, smiled at strangers, sang to her mother, and helped anyone who called. Sometimes she would pass the other maidens, hiding under shades, rubbing their swollen faces with new ointment. She would smile politely and greet them, but they only hissed. Let her laugh, one of them whispered bitterly. The day of the festival is coming. We shall see who laughs last. By the next week, Umwama had changed completely. The villagers started noticing strange things. The maidens' faces glowed. Yes, but not the kind of glow you clap for. It was oily, slippery, and shining like new akara. Flies began to follow them everywhere, dancing behind their heads like loyal drummers. Even Mama Obiko noticed. She said, tapping her chin. When you rub oil from a strange man, and your face begins to fry like plantain, better ask if you are the pan or the oil. But the maidens didn't care. Okibe had told them it was normal, and they couldn't wait to have their skin like milk revealed. The prince was in trouble, because this beauty that was coming to him, there was no way he could resist it. They strutted around the market like peacocks that borrowed pride from the gods. As the days passed, the maidens' beauty treatment continued. Every evening, they rubbed Okibe's oil from head to toe, humming proudly as they imagined the prince staring at them. But then, itching began. Amarachi scratched her neck. Maybe this is how beauty starts, small fire before brightness. Of course, Nkechi said. Okibe said it will cleanse us first. See how it cleansed me, like pepper mixed with fire. They laughed foolishly, scratching like chickens that entered red ants. But as more days passed, the burning grew worse. Their skin turned red like roasted tomatoes, their lips swelled like puff-puff that refused to deflate. Still, they didn't stop. It means it's working, Chizaba said, trying to encourage herself. Great beauty always comes with great pain. By the 12th day, Umwama woke to the biggest comedy since the creation of Yam. The maidens came out for dance practice, looking like masquerades on mid-term break. Their faces had swollen, their eyes nearly closed, their noses as round as calabash tops. "Mama Biko, come and see beauty," one little boy shouted. People gathered, and the laughter that day could wake the ancestors. Mama Biko herself nearly fainted from laughing. "Chesomo, Nkechi, is this you or your grandmother's ghost? Hey, Amarachi, your lips have grown wings another woman taste." The maidens tried to defend themselves, but even their voices had changed, thick, nasal, and funny. "Stop laughing," Amarachi cried, her face wobbly. "We are fine. Thank you. Okwibe said this is the final stage." "Final indeed," Paokike said, leaning on his stick. When goats rub perfume, they still smell like goats. The crowd screamed with laughter. Some people even danced mockingly around them as they sang. More days passed, and the maidens' faces only grew worse. They couldn't walk through the village anymore without the villagers mocking them or children singing and running after them. Their faces were bowed low to the ground as they looked like foreign zombies. This was not the kind of beauty they had expected. 14 days had passed, and things only grew worse. Their reflection stared back at them with terror whenever they looked at the mirror, which made them scream out in pain. One evening, they could no longer bear the itching and shame. The maidens rushed to Ukibe's compound. "Ukibe! Ukibe, come out here," they shouted. "Our faces are on fire. The villagers are laughing at us." But Ukibe's hut was empty. His calabash were gone. His mat rolled. It looked as though he never existed before. Only a note lay on the ground that read, "True beauty is not bought. It is borrowed from good character. Thank you for making me rich. It was fun while it lasted." "Ah!" the maiden screamed. "We've been scammed. Okibe has scammed us." They ran through the village crying, their swollen faces glistening like overripe palm fruits. Mama Biko spread the news faster than fire in Hamatan. "Did you hear?" she shouted from her veranda. "The miracle beauty seller has vanished though. Our fine girls have turned to Obanje frogs. I hope the gods help them." Laughter roared through Uwama. Even the goats forgot to eat that afternoon. They were too busy watching the drama. The morning of the royal festival broke like a promise. The sky itself looked washed and dressed for celebration. Smoke from cooking fires rose gently. Drums rolled like thunder behind hills, and the whole of Umwama seemed to hum one tune. Today, the prince will choose his bride. The king sat on his stool of carved ivory, the chiefs in their places, the drummers ready, flutes sharp, and the villagers gathered, restless with excitement. When the village maidens arrived, they no longer walked like proud peacocks. Their wings had been clipped. The miracle creams of Ukibe had done their final work, faces swollen, lips thick and strange, necks blotched with red. Shame had settled on their beauty like dust. They covered their faces with scarves, walked quietly, avoiding people's eyes. The gossip roaster Babang Biko nearly fell off her stool, laughing. Wonders shall never end," he shouted. "Is this one beauty contest or swollen parade?" Even the king tried to keep a straight face but failed. "What happened to our maidens?" he asked. "Ukibe happened," Papa Okike murmured, tapping his flute. "When vanity eats soup with spirits, the pepper will find its mouth." The crowd laughed loudly and the maidens' shame deepened. The drums began calling the maidens to dance. They came out one after the other, but their faces held no joy. The first maiden danced like someone whose leg was borrowing strength from the earth. The second followed, turning slowly, afraid her head tie might reveal her swollen face. The third tried to smile, but her lips refused to bend. The crowd clapped politely, but the spirit was gone. The dance looked more like a funeral, as if they had come to mourn. Even the prince's eyes were distant. He looked around, searching, searching. When the last maiden finished and the drum stopped, silence filled the square. The king leaned towards him. "My son," he said, "the maidens have danced. Is there no one here that is fit for you?" But the prince's heart was far away. His mind was not in that square. His chest tightened as his eyes scanned the crowd again and again. Where is she? Why hadn't Adama come? He had dreamed of her every night since the day of her dance. He had told her she could join the dance. He had waited to see her again, to thank her, to know her well, to feel that same peace her voice had brought him. But she was nowhere. He sighed, his heart sinking like a stone in a stream. He finally stood up to leave. There was no way he was going to pick any of these maidens who had faces like that of a masquerade and the hearts of a demon. And then it happened. A sound, soft at first, rose from behind the crowd. It wasn't the drum, it wasn't the flute. It was a voice, clear, melodic, deep like the river at dawn. Every head turned. Even the birds in the trees went quiet. "Who is that?" someone whispered. The prince's heart leaped. He knew that voice, and when she stepped forward, Adama, barefoot, dressed in her simple clothes, no gold, only the glow of truth on her skin. She sang, and her voice poured like palm wine into every ear.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 oh. Lift your head. The sun has risen. The river has brought out your mud. The outcast has worn the crown of the gods. And I'm a child of grace. The earth bows for you. Together they glow. Adama, 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 whoa. Queen of Umuoma, our hearts you own. Who said the river has no song? The river sang her name. Who said the drum has no heart? The drum before her fame. From shame to glory, her feet have danced. Her crown was written by the God's own hands. Let the flute speak, let the drums roll. The dust of Umuoma rises in joy. From ashes she came, with fire she reigns. My pride was risen by the God's own hands. Let the maidens dance, yes, let the elders sing. For peace has come and joy has wings. Adama, 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 oh, Queen of Umuoma, forever you reign. The girl they mocked has become a song. The name they scorned will live so long. Adama, the victorious, the light that made Umuoma one.
The flutes found her tune and joined, the drums caught her rhythm. The crowd rose to their feet, shouting, "Adama, Adama, sing again!" The prince's eyes widened. He stood, stunned, breathless, smiling. He had found what he didn't even know he was missing. When her song ended, silence fell again. Then, an explosion of cheers. "Adama! Adama! Adama!" the people shouted. The prince rose, his eyes shining. "Father," he said, "the gods have spoken through dance. There can be only one queen, and here she is." He ran towards Adama and swept her into a hug. "You don't know how long I've waited for you. From today," he said softly, "your name will sit beside mine." The crowd gasped. The king's smile froze. "Who is that girl? Is she not the outcast from the other day? No, she is an abomination to the throne," he thundered angrily. There was silence. Then, whispers ran through the crowd like wildfire. "Your Highness," the chief murmured, "it is against our custom." The king's voice grew heavy with anger. Who permitted her to join the royal dance? Who gave an outcast the audacity to stand before royalty? He pointed at her fiercely. "Guards, seize her at once!" The crowd screamed as two guards stepped forward. Adama froze, trembling, her wrapper shaking in the breeze. But before they could touch her, the prince stepped in front of her, his eyes blazing. "Father," he said firmly, "enough." The entire square went silent. Even the drums seemed to hold their breath. "Have we become wiser than the gods who made us all?" he asked, his voice clear and calm. "Tell me, Father, when the rain falls, does it choose where to land? When the sun shines, does it avoid a poor man's roof?" The king frowned, his anger faltering. "My king," the prince continued, "you taught me that the gods are just. But how can the gods be just if we call one child of the soil pure and another polluted? Who are we to decide? Did the gods not mold us from the same earth? If the gods gave her beauty, kindness and grace, who are we to call her unclean? Who are we to name her an outcast?" He turned to the crowd, his voice rising like thunder. "Every man here knows what his heart feels. When I look at this maiden, I feel something I've never felt before. I feel love, not riches, not beads, not rank, real love and sincerity. That day, she danced not to please the eyes, but to praise the land that looks down on her, the same land that raised us all. And yet, because of your shallow minds, you have refused to see her, and you call her an abomination." He turned to his father. "Then perhaps the throne itself has become blind." The king's hand shook on his staff. His eyes moved from his son to Adama. The girl stood trembling, tears shining in her eyes like dew on morning leaves. The crowd was silent. Some began to nod slowly, murmuring, "Yes, the prince is right. The gods cannot hate their own creation. Maybe this law is old and wicked." Paokike rose from his seat under the udala tree and spoke with a voice of age. "When truth speak, even the deaf will hear. The prince has spoken the mind of the gods." The king's face softened. He looked at his son, then at the people, and finally at Adama. Slowly he lowered his staff. "The gods forbid pride in the heart of a ruler," he said quietly. "My son, you have opened my eyes. You have proven that you are more righteous than I am." He raised his voice to the crowd. "From this day forth, there shall be no more outcast in Umoma. Every child of this land shall eat from the same pot and dance on the same soil. Everyone is equal. The crowd roared with joy. Women threw their wrappers into the air. Men beat the ground with staff. Children clapped until their palms turned red. The king turned to Adamma and smiled. Come, my daughter. The throne that rejected you now bows to you. You are not an abomination. You are the reminder that the gods love all men equally. The prince took her hand again, and together they knelt before the king. The king placed coral beads on Adamma's neck and declared, Let the people of Umwama bear witness this day. Adamma shall be queen of Umwama, and the curse of outcast blood is broken forever. The drums thundered, the flutes cried in joy, and the villagers chanted Adamma's name until the hills echoed. Mama Umbiko raised her hand and shouted above the noise, Ah! The gods have eyes indeed. When love speaks, even tradition must listen. That night, the stars burned brighter than fireflies. Adamma stood beside her prince, queen of Umwama, daughter of the soil, and the kingdom once divided by pride finally danced as one. As the drums faded and the cheers settled into the wind, the maidens, those once full of pride and rivalry, bowed their heads in shame. Their faces, still swollen and red, were no longer masks of envy but mirrors of regret. Adamma stepped forward, her calmness like cool water pouring on burning coals. The crowd quieted as she raised her gentle voice. People of Umwama, she began softly. My mother always said that beauty is not a battle, and pride is not a crown. The earth does not compete with the sky, yet both shine in their own way and time. Why do we fight to outshine another? The villagers listened, their hearts bending like tall grass in the rain. Our village, she continued, was blessed with fertile lands and strong hands. Yet we forgot that peace feeds the harvest better than jealousy. We mocked one another, we gossiped, we measured worth by wrappers and beads. But now, we know better. Let love lead our dance, not envy. Tears rolled down some faces. Even Mama Biko, the gossip roaster herself, sniffed quietly and nodded. Adamma turned to the maidens, her tone soft as palm wine. Maidens of Umwama, may we never again buy beauty with bitterness. Let us learn to clap for one another. For what is the joy of one if it makes another cry? The maidens, their hearts bleeding with shame, fell on their knees. Forgive us, Queen Adamma, they pleaded. She smiled and lifted them up one after the other. There is nothing to forgive. The gods have already taught us through our mistake. The people clapped. The king raised his staff again, his voice warm with pride. From this day forward, he declared, Umwama shall be a kingdom of love, not rivalry. Let no man or woman be judged by name, birth, or worth. We are one people, children of the same earth. The crowd roared, We are one, we are one. Drums rolled again, louder, happier, freer. The whole square burst into song and laughter. The once chaotic village of Umwama found peace that day. The air that once carried gossip now carried music. The hearts that once burned with competition now bloomed with kindness. And the maidens, they had learned the bitter lesson life had taught them. Seasons rolled like calabashes down a gentle stream, and peace became the new rhythm of Umwama. The land that once shook with rivalry now danced to laughter. The rivers sang softly again, the farms flourished, even the trees seemed to clap when the wind passed through their leaves. Under Queen Adamma's rule, every household felt the breath of change. The people called her the queen with a mother's heart. She built wells for the poor, shared food during droughts, and visited widows who once sat forgotten at the edge of the village. When disputes arose, her words calmed tempers faster than rain quenches fire. And the maidens, those who once with swollen pride now walked with humility. They no longer compared beads or wrappers. Instead, They taught the younger girls that kindness was the first decoration a woman could wear. Mama Ubiko, who once fed the village with gossip, became the kingdom's storyteller. She told the children the tale of the day beauty bowed. Her voice soft with wisdom. Paukike's flute sang at every festival, and he would say with a smile, "When peace marries wisdom, the children of joy will fill the compound." As for the prince, now king beside Adamma, he ruled with compassion. Together they became the heartbeat of Umuoma, two souls who proved that love can change a nation faster than war can destroy it. And so, Umuoma became a kingdom of laughter, unity, and light. And that, besties, is how a poor girl's kindness healed the kingdom. Because in the end, true beauty is not seen just with the eyes, but felt in the heart that forgives. Hey besties, we've come to the end of this story and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. I would love you to share your thoughts and drop your comments in the comments section. If you enjoy our stories and you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do not skip this video without hitting on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever we post new stories. Thank you so much for all your love, your support and encouragement. It means so much to me. Right now, I'll have to go and see you in our next story.